All right, y'all. I'm going to light the candle to set the intention. Y'all get comfy. Take your deep breaths. Setting an intention for a great call today where you receive information you're looking for, especially having to do with feng shui and symbols. The deepest breath you've taken all week. And then when you exhale, let out the air, all of it, like twice as long as your inhale. Since we're talking about what I'm calling old school feng shui today, I just want to acknowledge the lineage of teachers before me that goes back thousands of years. So we can just feel that presence of those masters that discovered slash created feng shui and how amazing it is that we have this ancient knowledge for modern times. So y'all take some breaths just appreciating that. And then appreciate yourself for wanting to absorb that information and put it into practice in your life and possibly share it with others. Okay, with your next breath, just think, be here now. And we'll get going. We've got a nice little group, so we'll be able to have some good discussion time. All right. And if you're watching the recording, you're here in spirit. So you will be receiving information that you are asking for as well. All right. Check it out. Feng Shui symbols. Man, I love symbolism. All right. Way to go getting here today. So we're just going to dive in. Okay. Before I get too talky, let's let the images speak for themselves. So what I'd like you to do is in your notebooks, just write down any words or feelings that come up for the or phrases for the next few pictures. It could just be simply identifying it, like this is that, and then maybe how it makes you feel, maybe just any words or impressions. Impressions is maybe a better way to describe. Just write it in your notebook. Oops. I'm trying to get to the chat. Um, I think what we'll do is give you a few seconds to write in your notebook. And then we're not going to go over the words yet, but if somebody can go ahead and start the chat and just write tree and then everybody can write some words they came up with. Okay. So part of the fun in doing this symbol class is sharing what you got. So I hope everybody will, if you're able to, if you're not driving or something, just put some brief little things in the chat. Thank you. Great. Great. Love it. I'm trying not to address that yet. We're going to go back through it. Hmm. Okay, great. All right, we're going to go to the next image. And again, write in your notebooks first so that y'all don't influence each other. That's why I have y'all do it like that. I just want to see what your first impression is. Okay. So write in your notebook. Okay. And then I'm going to just call this on the chat a keyhole. So y'all can write now what words you came up with for that. It might be something totally different than what I wrote. Mm. Hmm. Y'all like to play. I'm so glad. Hmm. Mm. Okay. Love it. All right. And y'all can put this stuff in at any time. Just put like which image it is and then your words. All right. Go ahead and write in your notebook first. And then feel free to put it in the chat. And y'all know how I like first impressions, so that's why I don't mind going fast. Hmm. Cool. All right. We've got about 7 of these total, just to give you a little heads up. Okay. And then put it in the chat. Cute. Okay. And keep going. Y'all write in your notebooks. And then write in the chat. Okay, I'm going to move on. Here's one. Write in your notebooks. And then feel free to write on the chat. Okay. All right. And then I just put a bunch of symbols. We'll talk about those in a minute. All right, let's see what we did. So, I think y'all can already see if you're, I'm just going to scroll back up in the chat and I invite y'all to do the same while we go back through these symbols briefly. But I love group teaching because we learn from each other, of course, number one, but also we can see where there's synergy. We can learn. So basically, symbology has to do with what Carl Jung called the collective conscious, right? So we'll start with this tree. Um, you know, oh, thanks, Mary, for the heads up. Family tree, tree of life, Wendy put. Chris immediately associated with fairies, which I believe are the spirits that oversee nature. So that would make sense. And they love trees. Alive. So I love how Wendy was tapping into kind of the feeling, like what's the energy of the symbol, right? We're looking at the chi, like what's being translated through the symbol, because symbols are beyond words, y'all. They are. Words are great. Words are great, but to have images and words, um, okay, so flowing. So Chris was seeing kind of that wavy, graceful uh, design aspects of this particular tree. Leslie, I think Leslie, you were seeing the circle and how it's in that circle. So that's that's your interpretation. Everything's right, when we do this. So a contained tree or an imprisoned tree. Mary focused on the roots. Love that. So I will say, I wasn't planning on getting into this so early in the game, but here we are. Um, Sometimes when you describe what you're seeing, it can be a reflection of maybe how you're feeling. So, with Mary saying the earth, like maybe she's more in an earthy uh, time in her life, like wanting to feel more grounded in some way. Leslie, I would look into seeing like where do you feel like you maybe want to break out, frankly. So, Chris is all about having fun with the fairies. Wendy, the tree of life, as you probably know, is such a powerful, powerful symbol to go ahead and just name it that. Um, uh, I think it's information for you. So whereas Mary like went straight to family tree. Now she's trained in Feng Shui, so she, knows to associate that element with family as well. So sometimes your education will affect. So there's lots of things that affect it. And then Christy, you also put tree of life and continuity. Ooh, that was cool. All right, so I named this one the keyhole. I just thought this symbol was cool. I had never seen it before, but when I was making the PowerPoint, I'm like, ooh, because I've always liked keys and keyholes. I mean, I just think of Alice in Wonderland. So let's see what y'all put. Ancient lock. I like how a few of y'all, so Christy said keyhole portal, and then Mary said threshold entry. To me, that's a portal and a threshold entry are very similar. So I think it's interesting because it's not really a door, but it symbolizes being able to go through a door, right? Whether it be some portal of some sort. Leslie, I like how you just said the key, the key. You just associated it with the actual key. Wendy, this is cool that you put light and spiritual. So feeling into what that means, right? And then Mary also put portal entry. All right, now skull. You'll see. I skull was the first symbol I picked for this. I shuffled around all the symbols because Carl Jung really did studies with skulls with children across cultures that we'll talk about in a little while. Um, and Ollie, I'll put death. And then Mary said head anatomy, which is very practical perspective. But it's funny you said that, Mary, because I really was looking at it. I'm like, gosh, I never like stared at skulls. They are odd. And they're under, we all have them. They're under our skin. So, yes, of course, death, right? Uh, So moving on because we'll come back to that one. Okay. Let's see. I don't know the orange flags in Central Park. I don't know if you're referring to the gate or what, but Asian entryway, entry gate, welcome, peace. Miss Chi, I'm here. Love it. Come on in, right, Miss Chi? So a gate. So again, we have another entryway, right? And this one seems to be like calling us forward. Like, come on through. See what's behind me, you know? Okay. Flower mandala. So Chris immediately said lotus. So pay attention because you can go look up the meanings, the deeper meanings of lotus. You probably have some information on it, but I love the symbolism of lotuses because it's beauty coming up through the mud. So that represents, even when you're in so-called bad times and like in the muck and you cannot see straight, there's beauty being birthed out of that. Flower, beauty, peace, blossoming. I mean, what gorgeous words. I know when I saw this, I was like, oh, I kind of love it. So, there are practices where you just stare at mandalas. At my yoga studio, the owner had a mandala made out of this beautiful wood that has these cutouts. And I love practicing with that thing because it helps me to focus when my mind is going 100 miles an hour. I'm like, okay, no, look at the mandala. So, I think these are really good for our brain. I think they activate something. Lotus chakra, energy, calm, vitality. Don't you love the words with this one? All right. I just called this a river. This was just, I mean, y'all, it's just a squiggle line, but every single one of y'all said flow. It's literally like a little squiggle, but our brains recognize it as something. So this is part of symbolism that our brains will immediately associate. Okay. River, journey, meandering, flow, flow, flow. I mean, flow, flow, and everybody's answer, which of course I love because Feng Shui translates to wind, water, which has everything to do with flow. Okay. So, yes, the gate. Okay. Now, I just threw these in because these are symbols that are in our more modern times that, these coat of arms that are used in families in Europe, they are intentionally using symbol. Okay. And maybe that's not for a family crest or something, but even what these animals are holding. Okay. So humans have used symbols. This is a Native American directional uh, symbol. Of course, we have the cross. We all recognize that. I think the hand heart is it's such a new that we didn't do that in the 90s. This is a new thing. Just in case for the youngins here that don't know, this was created in y'all's generation. Um, but my daughter has grown up with us, and she'd probably be like, "What do you mean y'all didn't do that? That's weird." But everybody knows the heart, right? But how fun is it to have the hands and the heart? And then of course the eagle. We all have reactions to these symbols on some level, right? Whether we're conscious of what they actually mean, we still have responses to symbols. Okay? Everybody agree? Give me a thumbs up if you're like, yes, we're with you, Katie. All right, so let's get down to some of this stuff. That's interesting, Mary, because I know that Chris said she saw it as a downward river and you saw it as an upper river. Yeah, I think art therapy is fun too, because that's something I would like to study more at some point in my life, art therapy, because how people see and participate with the images can give that, you can get information, right? Okay, Carl Jung discovered that symbols and myths from different cultures often share similar themes and images, which he believed pointed to something universal in the human mind. Okay, so what he came to understand, remember, before internet, before television, right? So images were not as ubiquitous as they are today. So we have to remember the context of Carl Jung, and then we're going to talk about also Joseph Campbell. They're kind of they're the ones that have like really studied this, and then we still um, use their research. So he would go to different cultures. So the first time I remember, because I was a psychology major before I said, I don't want to do this. I want to be an English major and write papers instead. I didn't want to take statistics. So I switched majors. But but I still love psychology. I'm like one class short of a minor in it. So I took as many as I could without, I was like, I don't care about getting the paper on it. But I remember being in one of my first psychology classes in college and the teacher talking about Carl Jung and this skull thing. And this was probably, I was thinking about it, I'm like, I think this is the first time I understood the power of symbols. And he said that he would show pictures to skulls to children so young, like under 4 in different cultures that have not crossed over, right? And they all, even though they have never seen a skull before, maybe even never seen a picture of a skull uh, associated with death, without somebody telling them. So he kind of became obsessed with that, right? Because wow, that's crazy in a way. Like that's very young. And he created this idea of the collective unconscious that we have let's see, how do I put that? That there's crossover in the way we process the images of the world, okay? Among in human and baked into humanity. Okay. I hope I said that okay. There's probably a better way to say that, but I think y'all all know about this anyway. So, but Carl Jung, okay, so obviously a famous psychologist, noticed that people from all over the world, no matter the cultural time period, use similar symbols in their stories, dreams, and religions. So, when I was kind of researching this, um, the old man came up, like Merlin, Gandalf, as a symbol that he found in so many cultures, like and the mother. So the wise, something about the wise ones in the cultures really showed up in most cultures' stories. So whether it was an older woman or an older man, um, he just was finding crossover in, uh, why do we have these? To me, it's obvious, of course, but this is part of his research. I'm just kind of regurgitating it to y'all. So he called these repeating images archetypes, and those of y'all in the Odyssey know that I'm obsessed with archetypes. So we do touch on it because I do think it's a big part of symbolism. He believed that they come from the collective unconscious, a deep layer of the mind that all humans share. It's like we're born with certain story patterns or symbols inside us. Okay, I wrote this written down. That's so cool, don't y'all think? He thought these symbols help us make sense of life, connect with others, and understand ourselves. Okay. So here we have a little comparison with Joseph Campbell and Carl Jung. Joseph Campbell wrote The Power of Myth. He is the he was the one that coined "Follow Your Bliss," which Abraham Hicks says are the best words ever spoken. Did y'all know that? Follow your bliss. Follow your bliss. So, Campbell, so origin of symbols arise from the collective unconscious shared human experience over millennia. Campbell said arise through myth and story, cultural expressions of the same deep psyche. Sounds like the same thing to me. Bridge between conscious and unconscious, guiding inner growth, individuation, provides maps of meaning for life stages and challenges, the hero's journey. So Campbell is credited with this concept of the hero's journey, which I named my program the Odyssey. So y'all can see why I love all this stuff. Okay. Power, emotional charge from deep instinctive layers of mind. Emotional recognition, they speak to our soul's experience. That's such a lovely way to put it. And the goal, wholeness and psychological integration and spiritual awakening and self-realization. Sounds pretty similar to me. All right, so do are we ready to go ahead and get into these old school things? I think we got to keep going. Okay, so y'all will notice this Bagua map, and I'm like, ooh, is it the early heaven or later heaven? So if you come study with me, yes, please do. Um, we will learn some feng shui history, and there are actually two Baguas, and the ones they're both ancient. They're both still ancient, but so the octagon is a feng shui symbol that's considered very balanced, very healing. And magical, really. I want to say magical. But of course, we all recognize this tattoo chi. I don't know if I say it correctly. We'll call it the two fishes. All right. And just look at that symbol. Okay. So I sometimes substitute the symbol like this is the emoji I use when I want to talk about feng shui because it's so people recognize it. Of course, it came from Asia. Um, but it's a mandala in itself. And it represents the balance, the polarities, the light and the contrast, and how even in the darkness there's light, and even in the light there's darkness. That's what those dots represent. So, yeah, and I love the symmetry of how these dots line up, but you don't even, but then there's still that feeling of movement, right? Yeah, I saw that crust flow. So, this whole the Bagua is a derivative of the Book of Changes called the I Ching. Again, we don't go too deep in the history of feng shui, but of course we do learn it. Um, but I wanted to give y'all a little taste because feng shui was created, right? It was tapped into, but it was also created. Like humans brought it forth, I feel like, gave it birth. All right, now, so FYI, because I don't know if everybody knows this because I don't think I advertise. I don't even know if it's on my website, but I was training in Compass and classical school first, before I decided to get certified in the Buddhist Tibetan Black Hat. So, I do have a foundation of the Compass School, which is it's the main difference is that school orients the Bagua map to the directions, whereas in BTB, we orient the Bagua map to the front door. And also the BTB school uses a lot of psychology and intention to move energy, and it works. So it's my preferred practice, but I think it's really great to know some of the classic symbols in feng shui because they're powerful. They're powerful. So I know this seems basic, but coins, coins are really utilized in feng shui. So listen, if you have access to a Chinatown where you live, um, and even in Birmingham, we've got great Chinese restaurants with amazing grocery stores attached. And there are, um, you know, you'll go in there and you'll be like, okay, what are all these statues and things? But they all have a meaning and a charge to them. Okay. So, coins, we all know in law of attraction, where attention goes, energy flows, right? So you put some coins in your house strategically, it's going to manifest money in abundance for you. Okay. All right. Lucky bamboo. Of course, this bamboo grows in Asia, right? Um, has anybody been to the bamboo forest in Hawaii, in Maui? It is amazing. So there's like a national park that is like this. It's so cool. And then the botanical garden has grown a really awesome bamboo forest in Birmingham. So I love going in there. It definitely has a certain feel. But we use lucky bamboo, that's what they call it. And you'll find it in Chinatown when you go, because it grows so easily and it's really hardy, and you do not have to give it much. attention for it to grow easily. So that represents that's what luck is. It's like it just does its own thing. It grows, it lives, it has a chi. So bamboo is an old school but very useful today symbol in Feng Shui. So whether it's depicted in art or in you actually get the plant and put it in a space, especially to represent the wood element. Now look at that drop picture. Isn't that pretty? So koi fish and goldfish. So I'm going to give y'all one cure that you'll see. And feng shui has been so around so long, and it's very baked into Asian culture that you might go into a hotel and see this, but they'll have fish tanks where it's eight goldfish and one black goldfish. So that's a traditional Compass School cure. Okay. And it represents, well, we've got the nine, the lucky nine fish, right? Um, and uh, and then the black one represents absorbing any negative energy, interestingly enough. And then the eight, gold, eight is the number of money. And then gold, of course, is the color of abundance and wealth. Let me just glance down at my notes and see if there's anything. Yeah, koi represents perseverance and continuous wealth, often shown as two or nine fish swimming together. So the two fishes, of course, is that Tai Chi symbol, right? Swimming together. And let me see. Let's see if it's handy, but I have some I do have some. Let's see if they're super handy. Uh I mean I my red envelopes are always handy, but I have some depicting the two fishes, but I'd have to get back in my other little stash spot. Okay, ships, success and prosperity sailing in, position to face into the room of the home, not out. So, um, with these symbols, sometimes you do have to be aware of the placement. So, if I love seeing ships and pictures of sailboats in spaces, of course, it represents flow, wind, water. You got it with the ship, right? Okay, right? Everybody get it? So, but you want chi to come into the space. So if you have a ship sailing out, that could be losing money, losing energy. All right. So we want energy to come in a space and circulate, and ships and sailboats are very good depiction of good energy and prosperity and exploration. There's so much. So I don't really have to tell y'all a lot of this stuff. We could do the little game again, but I'm going to move along so we make sure it get to y'all's power symbols and have some time to talk. And then yeah, it's kind of like a treasure ship, a ship sailing in loaded with gold, symbolizing incoming wealth and success. Woo, I love it. Okay, cranes, another old school. Okay, so first of all, aren't they gorgeous? Just look how beautiful they are. I think I think this piece of art is pretty. Longevity, peace, and a noble spirit. And then, of course, two cranes can be good for romance because they mate for life. Turtles. Look at this guy, y'all. I mean, let's just type in a few words. Like when you see this guy, what do you get from that? So my certified ladies know that there are the four celestial animals, and tortoise is one of them. And we like to have it in the career gua if possible. So let's get my chat into the picture. Ancient wisdom. Look, y'all put the exact same proud and content. Love it. Mystery and wisdom. Yeah. So when I was 19, I did a sea turtle rescue in Costa Rica, and I got to watch these things come out of the water and give birth. And oh my gosh, to be in the presence of these animals in that way, It was life changing. They are remarkable. And some of those, some of them are 100 years old. This guy, they live so long. So it's also about longevity. Okay. Um, Protection and long life, protection because of that shell. All right. Look at these guys. So these are a species of mallard ducks. So I had to put mallard ducks in here because it's just one of those symbols that's like the thing. Like if this was 100 years ago and we had a 100 years old, feng shui master coming into your home and you want to help with your marriage, they would say get the mallard duck. They would do the two mallard ducks. It's just the one. It's like if you have any question, if you want any, just get the mallard duck two together. There's just something real stable about the energy of the pair with mallard ducks. So this is kind of what I meant, like when I wrote my things, I'm like, we're going old school, like there's just some that it's like we don't mess with, right? So I remember I had a client and she wanted to manifest a boyfriend and she's like, I'm like, well, get something in pairs. And she was finding owls and all these things. And I'm like, and I go research if a species mates for life, because I think that just takes it to the next level, right? Um, but man, if you just not mess around and just do the mallard ducks, you're good. All right, now had to talk about peonies. Look how stunningly gorgeous peonies are. Don't y'all love them? But this is one, there's just some things that I don't mess around with feng shui. I love creative cures. I love when my clients get involved in like, well, I love owls, let's do those. Um, However, uh, I don't, there's times I don't risk things. A peony is one of them. If I see peonies in the romance section of a married couple's house, I ask them to get rid of them. They are used traditionally in homes for the daughters, probably the eldest daughter first, to get married, therefore attracting new love. They're not the stability of the mallard ducks. They will draw in new love, like a youthful love. So even honestly, like I'm middle aged now. I don't even think I would advise this for middle aged somebody because I think it's too associated with youth, and I don't want somebody to get like an immature person coming into their lives. So, as beautiful as they are, they should be used uh, with this knowledge. They're great for younger women. Okay, like amazing, like done. That the girl will get some dates and hopefully whatever she wants out of it. Um, Same with they call it the peach blossom luck. So same with the color peach. It shouldn't be in married people's like intimate space. Okay. So because what it could do is it could cause somebody to cheat. That's what they say. So I just don't mess with that. I'm not going to go into somebody's home and mess with that. So that's that. All righty. This is the Phoenix and the Dragon. Now, y'all have heard me say, I'm sure, especially moving to Alabama, when I go teach the real estate continuing education classes, like one of my kind of things is I have a dragon up there, and I'm like, I'm not going to tell your clients to put dragons in their homes because that's not necessarily the aesthetic of many homes in Alabama, United States. So, you have to resonate with the symbols, right? But I really wanted to bring this one forth because I personally think it's a gorgeous image. But of course, I've studied feng shui most of my life now. And And there's just a harmony in this. Okay. There's just a harmony in these two very strong, so-called lucky animals. Um, these are both part of the four celestial animals as well. And this image is actually good for healthy romance too. So thanks, Mary. You can watch the recording. Okay. All right. Y'all ready? Any questions before we do this? Anybody? I'd love to see y'all's picture. I'd like to see y'all if you want to say hello, but I understand it's lunch on a Friday. Hey, Wendy, you're back. Chris is like, I'm here. Um, okay, great. All right, y'all. What if we each had our own energetic blueprint that we come into this lifetime with? I was talking about this recently with my Odyssey ladies. Blueprint, the idea that we have an energetic blueprint. This is a relatively new word concept. I mean, and I just think it's a nice, but maybe it's because I look at blueprints. I look at floor plans, so I'm like, ooh, I like this. But it's interesting to think about. Like we have our own essences, right? Our own energy fields. So we're going to resonate with certain things. All right. So what would be part of your energy story? Write down on your paper, and then maybe we're going to share, we'll probably share in a minute. What would be part of your energy story? What has been what has been consistent symbols or images in your life that you know you resonate with, that you know is part of who you are? Like you just love it, basically. Like I said, you probably know some of these images. It's what you've been attracted to or love, maybe decorate with, wear over time. It just seems to be stable for you. It's okay to have symbols that change throughout your life you're going to, but we're kind of wanting to get to that blueprint. Okay. All right. And we're about to do a little exercise to be a little bit more intentional than me just asking these questions. But before I do that, I want to remind y'all that the application is open for the Feng Shui Odyssey. If I don't do this in the middle, y'all, I forget every time. But I do want to let y'all know it is the early bird sign up. So if you like feng shui and you just jam with this, please go ahead and uh apply because this is the way. I don't advertise this much. Yeah, Chris is like, woo, thank you, Chris. Um, but you basically get a year with me when you sign early bird up instead of the 9 months. We start now. We start now. So do that so you can get on my schedule. All right. And it's so fun. And of course, you can read about it on windhorse.school.com. And you have the option to get certified. This is not a certification program. This is a program for you. And then you have the option to get certified. That's an add-on. And you can add that on. You don't even have to add it on that year. You can get certified in a year or two or three later. Okay. Okay. Now, I do want to announce this right now. Y'all, I'm so excited. Next First Friday, we're going to do a 2-hour feng shui workshop. So go ahead and set the time aside because I'm doing something a little sneaky this time. I'm not, I would like for people to show up live. I really want it to be live. Y'all to come and like have some community time for 2 hours. Okay. So it'll be noon to 2 on whatever that December 1st Friday is. Can't remember right now. But because what I'm going to do is for that workshop, it'll have a cost if you don't show up at least for the first hour. Okay. So even if you don't have 2 hours, just show up for the first part or the second part, and then you will get it for free. Okay. So this is my way to get everybody there live so we can jam. All right. Now, Let's do our power symbols. Y'all ready? Take some deep breaths. Close your eyes. And I want you to imagine something you want. So your eyes closed. Take your breathing deeper. And I just want you to imagine like something you want. Maybe it's something you wanted for a long time. Maybe it's something recent that you're like, you know what? That's what I want. Okay. And then now I want you to imagine you're walking on a path. Pick anywhere. It can be a forest, a beach, but you really have the world to yourself when you're walking. So just get really present on that path and just enjoy the scenery. And I want you to notice up ahead, there's like a big rock, like a slab. Okay. And you're like, what is that? And you walk up to it and you noticed there's a beautiful silver box. It's not big, it's not small. And you walk up to it, even though you know this is strange to see in the middle of the path, but you're going to go look at it because this box is calling out to you. And your name is engraved beautifully on the top of this box. And then there's some engravings, some decoration engravings. Can you see what these engravings are? Are they symbols or is it shapes? And just remember that what it looks like. And then it beckons you to open it, and you do. What is inside? Okay. All right. Let's share. Let's stop in the screen. All right. What did people get? Anybody get anything? Did this work? I kind of went a little fast, but does anybody want to share? Christy, you got a bear. Tell me more. Do you feel like unmuting, Christy, and speaking? Wendy, you got moon, stars, and spirals for symbols. Y'all, these are so fun to hear about. Christy, I'm wondering if you got a bear inside the box or if it was
Yeah, it was like a bear spirit. I just opened the box and this like whoosh, this big bear came out, like a spiritual bear. It's really
nice.
strange. I don't know why, but it's spirit bear.
Well, let's talk about it. Did you also get some engravings on the top?
Yeah, it was flowers and swirls.
Could you tell what kind of flowers?
No,
Okay. So it doesn't matter. So, but the bear is quite the symbol. So this is what I would advise. I'm going to use Christy. Christy's in the hot seat. I hope y'all are okay with it. But y'all are going to be able to use what I'm telling her for your own. Christy, whatever your want was, these are the symbols that can help you get it. Okay. So this bear, do you work with animal medicine or animal totems at all?
no.
Okay, you're gonna to. It's gonna be such a nice journey for you. So bear has to do with introspection. This bear feels very much it sounds like you enjoyed meeting this bear. Am I correct?
Yes, he is
Okay.
a nice bear.
Great. So, what I would suggest is finding something, either, I don't know if you draw or sketch. It doesn't matter if you do or don't, actually. I would love for all of y'all to draw something that you received, whether it's the flowers, draw the bear, maybe sleep with the image of the bear. If you're out and about and you see a necklace with a bear on it, or, some cards or something that has a bear on it, keep this image or something close to this image in your space somewhere so that it reinforces itself in your psyche, because this symbol, what you received in this waking dream, is uh It's almost like a spirit guide of sorts, right? It's an ally, a talisman. All right. So, there is, yeah, I love my spirit animal books. Ted, I always put this guy's other guy's name. Ted Andrews has some amazing books, and interestingly enough, I might have to go grab them. A client of mine just sent me these cards called the medicine cards that I used in my 20s, and then I guess I got rid of them at some point, but they're amazing cards. If we have time, I might go grab them and just read a little bit about bear for you, but really meditating with bear and seeing like how you feel with this idea of bear. I mean, bears hibernate. So it could be like really, really, really slowing down, especially since we're in the winter months, to give yourself some nurturing. And interestingly enough, when you can relax, that gets you in the receptive mode, and this thing you want could just appear, or you get the ideas on how to go about achieving it. Okay? Does that help you,
Okay.
Christy?
Yeah, that's wonderful. Thank you.
You're so welcome. And listen, this is why group works is so powerful too, because I got a note that Wendy had moon stars and spirals. Wendy, were those on your engraving or were those in the box? No worries.
They just appeared. It,
Mm-hmm.
and at first I'm like, why am I seeing stars? Like, what is the significance? And then I saw a moon show up, and it has big significance actually because I love astrology.
Ah,
So, and it just like popped into my
right.
head without consciously trying to think of anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and then the moon, of course, is intuition.
Hmm.
All of moon and stars is all about light in the darkness. It's also stars are guides, it's navigation. Okay. Um, the phases of the moon. So y'all go research, like go read about. But of course, I like when people can meditate on symbols, and you can even just do like a little writing exercise. You say, "Star, tell me more about you. Like, why'd you come up? Why'd you show up today?" But this is definitely, I like to do these deceptively powerful exercises. Go draw some stars. Get a piece of artwork with stars. These are to help you tune into yourself more in order to like keep on your dream path, to keep in your expression. So I love it. I love it. And spirals too. Very fun.
Well,
Any,
and that I think signifies energy.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
The emoji I like for chi is that swirl. Um, Let me see if there's anything else for you, Wendy. Okay, so basically, one reason I brought this up is because even if your engravings, because Christy, I do my own exercises for myself before I offer them to y'all, and mine was some swirls and flowers too. But then I looked a little closer, and they were lilies, and then there's some little frogs in there too. So, um, but Wendy got something totally different. So just because things are engraved, and a lot of times they're flowers, it doesn't mean don't discount it. If you do not let your brain think, but that's what everybody says. No, it's not at all. Okay. Deep, rich purple fabric in the box. Love it, Rachel. Way to pay attention. So that color has some significance for you. Please buy some clothes and wear it. Because remember, my intention was power symbols. Power symbols. Trees, vines, and leaves, Chris. It had sugar in it, Carolina. That is adorable. Okay, so listen, that might seem like, well, Katie, it was a sugar box. She just saw her grandmother's box. No, no. Sugar can be symbolic too. It has to do with the sweetness of life. So you're wanting some more, and you don't have to go eat a bunch of sugar, but fat. This is a message for you. Yep. Yeah. She's like, I'm not doing that. I'm like, yeah. But you can find a way to set an intention to bring more sweetness into your life and explore what that means to you. What's the sweetness of life to you? Okay. Thank y'all for sharing. Multifaceted crystal, Chris. Well, I'm not surprised by that for you, Queenie. So you know to go get a crystal that maybe signifies whatever this is that you want. Maybe you'll go find a crystal and that'll be your meditation. Maybe there's a crystal waiting for you. Ooh, engravings were diamond shapes around the edge of the box. So, y'all, the tarot, Wendy, when you were talking about the moon and the stars, I flashed on the tarot deck. You might want to go read about the star and tarot. The moon is an interesting one because it can be a little tricky in the tarot. Um, so take what you want out of it. Let's see. On the outside was a heart and a smiley face. That's adorable. And inside a swirl of energy. Another swirl. Okay, I love it. Well, we know hearts and smiley face, love and happiness. So sweet. Um, okay. Well, I have the quickest of quick, another one that I used with my Odyssey ladies. Let's just do it because I like to bend time. So I gave them 90 seconds. I'm giving y'all 25 seconds. This was with my Odyssey 2.0 ladies. All right. I'm going to give y'all $10 million. Actually, I'm going to up it to $20 million. But you have to get a tattoo and it has to be this size at least. Okay. And you can never have it taken off. What will you get a tattoo of? Sketch it, draw it. What do you think it is? I'm assuming everybody would get a tattoo if they were offered $20 million. That's the game. All right, now type in what you gonna do. What's your a butterfly, Rachel, a butterfly, Wendy and Rachel. Ah, so sweet. Heart, Christy, I love that. Wait, is your last name Cupido? Is that your real name? And you want to do a heart? That's adorable.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Okay, well, that's not an accident. That's adorable. Chris, you get yours free. Yeah, but I'm still going to give you $20 million. A fairy and a hummingbird. Nice. Who else wants to share their tattoo? Leslie, what's your tattoo? Mine is going to be a running horse or a Pegasus. Surprise, surprise. Okay. So that's these are your power symbols too. The symbol you chose for this is how easy this can be, is helping you in your life quite a bit. Please go research it. The same homework. Go research it, draw it, wear it, um, plant milkweed in your garden so that butterflies come. They are your spirit helpers. Okay? Carolina, you don't want $20 million? I'll think of another incentive than you for you. Carolina's not going to get a tattoo for 20 million. I'll take your 20 million. Okay. Um, Carolina, think of another incentive where you would definitely have to get it. You're like, okay, I'll get a tattoo for that. And then think of what it would be. Leslie, yours is the butterfly too. Y'all, butterflies are amazing. They are. Go look up the chrysalis stage and all of that. Okay, let's do world peace, Carolina. If you get a tattoo, we will have world peace. That's a better one, actually. I like it. And then think about what you would get. Well, y'all, I like to stay on time because I know lunch hours are sacred. But please, 2 hours workshop. It's going to be, I haven't done a 2 hour workshop in a long time. So I'm just offering this to y'all. And then reminder, please come in person so that you can have it for free, right? Okay. So way to go. Love seeing y'all. Wish we could stay on for another hour because this is so much fun to me. Oh, Chris, I love it. All right. But thank y'all for coming. And I hope if you are even like remotely considering the Odyssey, the discovery call is no pressure. You don't do the Odyssey unless it's a fit for you and me. That's how it goes. So if you want to do a deep dive with me on a call, do the application and then we can just have fun together, okay? And talk about the Odyssey some. All right. Y'all take it easy. Thank y'all for showing up for these. I love seeing y'all. It's so much fun. Have a great weekend and enjoy your symbols. Bye. Carolina gave us the heart emoji.